international debate about resuming or abolishing the killing of the whales. Whaling holds great traditional importance in small communities, but whaling commercially is not profitable. This is because all products that were once made from whales now have cheaper alternatives. Whale watching is another option which suggests there is a sustainable way of utilizing our whales, and it can be done anywhere on the coast. This interested Andres Cisneros, who completed his master's degree at UBC. Andres was asked to tackle this issue with whale watching and estimate what it could be worth.
When I started looking into this, all I saw were really polarized opinions. Right? So on the one hand, whales are just beautiful and we want them. And on the other hand, they're culturally important for the whaling industry in Japan and other places. But I didn't see anyone go to the middle ground and just look at them and compare them as industries, which is what I think we should be doing. So whale watching, the way I meant it in the paper, it not only includes whales, but also dolphins and other marine mammals like sea lions, seals, and elephant seals, etc. And what it is, it can either be going on a boat to where the whales are or the other mammals, or it can be watching from the air, it can be watching from the shore. Some people even include diving, but what you're doing is just looking and not touching.
Andre used a mathematical model called the binomial GLM to show how much money whale watching could generate for countries around the world. A binomial GLM takes more than one factor to explain an outcome.
Well, the binomial GLM, if you think about a regression model, what it does is it takes a few explanatory variables, in this case, how many whales there are, how many species of whales, and how abundant they are in a given country's ocean, and the number of tourists that go to that place. And what it does is it tells you what the probability of somebody either going whale watching or not going whale watching. Right? And so when you have the total number of tourists, you put them all together and you see what the total number of whale watchers would be. And what the results of that showed is that just with the tourists that go to different countries in the world right now, and their number of whales and the abundance of those whales, pretty much every country could do whale watching and could profit from it.
The International Whaling Committee is the IWC. It was initially set up by the whaling nations to regulate whaling, but any country can join. The IWC now focuses on conservation efforts. Andre's paper was published mere weeks before the last IWC meeting, and there was great interest in his work. These ideas weren't new to the IWC, but never before has anyone modeled the economic interest that whale watching opened for other countries.
That feels strongly about the issues, but I'm from a small town too, and I understand the cultural values of it. They're very strong, right? So you're not going to get anywhere by just telling people what to do. And so I think it's very important to try and use science to an objective way, which is supposed to be part of science, explain and convince people, but so that they can make up their own minds. And so that to me is an important part of it. I wouldn't call myself pro whale watching per se. What I will say is I'm very pro rational use of our resource.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you can prove to me that, for example, that the whaling industry is completely sustainable and that it's benefiting people in some way that you couldn't get otherwise, then okay, maybe we'll regulate it in some way and make it happen. I don't see any evidence for that. Right? And so in lieu of that, they say, well, here's this other industry that's benefiting directly from whale conservation, which is a good thing. And it's getting you way more money than you used to have whaling. Right? So in that sense, to me, it's just an obvious choice.